Decolonize Sports, we are here at the NCAA National Office for the inaugural Native Student Athlete Summit.
Yep.
We're here with one of the organizers, Dr. Alisse Joseph. Just want to maybe start by introducing yourself, where you come from, who you are, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, halito, chimachukma, sahuchipoya, Alisse Joseph, chatasiahoke. I'm Alisse Joseph. I'm a citizen of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. I'm the faculty athletic representative at Northern Arizona University and a professor in applied Indigenous studies. And about 5 years ago, a group and I started the Indigenous Athletics Advancement Council, and it was really a jumpstart to help indigenize the women's Final Four in Minneapolis that year. And since then, we've just really seen how we can grow, build a community of Native athletes, administrators, coaches, and so that has brought us to where we are today at the inaugural Native Student Athlete Summit.
Yeah, when did this idea start to bring a bunch of Native people to the NCAA National Office?
So I've been telling people it really started when I was a student athlete. I played tennis at UC Davis many years ago, over 20 years ago, but I showed up on campus and I was the only Native student athlete on campus. And I thought to myself, where are the other Native student athletes? Because I got a scholarship, I had to stay healthy, I had to keep my academics up, the perks of being a student athlete. And it was really disheartening to see, the numbers at that time. There was only 2 tennis players in the country, and that was my brother and myself. And so since then, I've thought about it through my personal and professional career. My research looks at Indigenous athletes and exercising sovereignty, and so the importance of moving our bodies to exercise our political, spiritual, and cultural citizenship. And so just as, I think I'll always be an athlete at heart, and so trying to empower, nurture, educate more student athletes to pursue a sport in college. And so I've kind of felt alone in that process, and then I was, through my work with the nonprofit, meeting new people who had the same hard work that I did, you included, right? And so I think we were just able to come together and realize the time is now to do this, and we have phenomenal support from the NCAA Office of Inclusion, who when I started, collaborating with NCAA, I would say, the numbers are good for some populations, but I kept raising my hand and saying, what about our Native communities? We're just an asterisk right here, but we have stories, we have meaningful people and communities that deserve this opportunity just like everybody else. And so 2025, baby, here we are.
Yeah, and you said it, the time is now, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel right now, but I walked into the foyer, and I'm pretty sure that's the most Native people that probably ever been in that hallway.
Oh, for sure.
So just now that the day's here, we're about to get started here in about 30 minutes, how are you feeling?
I feel great. We're ready. I think we have to come in it with a good heart and a good mind that, we wish there were hundreds of Native student athletes here, right? We have about 45 here, and I think that's a really beautiful, small, intimate group to start with, where we can really help the student athletes here nurture community with each other, and then administrators, coaches, and then learn and grow, because I think this will be the first of many, many years. And so I'm feeling really great, Brandon. I'm very happy, and I keep saying, I hope I don't start crying the whole time. I could start crying right now, but I got to do a welcome in about 45 minutes. So I feel really blessed and full of abundance right now.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it, but what are you hoping, the student athletes walk away with after the 2 days here?
I really hope that they see themselves in this space, and that they know they belong in this space, and that they have a really unique story and journey. And I want them to see it's unique and it's beautiful. It's not different. It needs to be centered in the holistic experience of the NCAA and student athletes. So I really hope that they walk away seeing themselves in this space, and that they belong here, and that we need them. We need their presence in this space.
Yeah, and then as somebody, you were a student athlete yourself, now you're a faculty athletics representative. Can you just maybe talk about your experience? You've been in it a long time. Mm-hmm. Maybe try not to go straight to the struggles, but some of the things that also, have built you to who you are today from being a college athlete?
Yeah, I mean, I think always grounded in my Choctaw community, first and foremost. I think I carry my community, my parents, my grandparents, my siblings, my nieces, my nephews, my kids with me wherever, so of course that gives me strength. But I think being a student athlete, like I said, like the only one, I wasn't sure if I was meaning to be there or not because I was the only one. And then I think throughout, and as you know, like being in your master's and your PhD, and then as an Indigenous faculty member, I think we always question, like, are we meant to be here because there's so few and far between? But I kept feeling and hearing the message, like the work that you're doing is important and it's meaningful, and we need more of it. And so I think that really helped as well. And when I would talk about, I work with Indigenous student athletes, it's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I didn't know. How many are there? I didn't even know. And it's like, well, we're here. We're present, right? And so I think the continual message from that, and then, I mean, so much are Native student athletes that I get to work with. Like, even just talking with, like today I've talked to so many, and my heart is so full. But we have always a few at Northern Arizona University, so I always make it like my priority to give them my cell, to know that I'm their auntie, if they need anything. And then also building the relationships with the NCAA, and that was hard at first because I would walk into a room being the only Native, and of course raising my hand, like I said, I'm sure like when they saw my hand raised, they're like, oh, there's Alisse again. Here she goes again. But I was just talking to Naya Blair, who's the director of inclusion, and she's like, I was just thinking, Alisse, remember when we first met? Like, it was probably 10 years ago. And she's like, you told me, Naya, we're doing a little bit, but we need to do more. And she's like, look at where we are right now. Cool. Like, we're doing more right now. And I'm like, we are. And honestly, I think this is just like another step. I think it's gonna just grow. And I think, again, a beautiful thing is like, just walking into that room too and seeing the student athletes, but seeing like you from Decolonize Sport and seeing all these amazing colleagues that I've had over the years, that some I have never even met in person, that are doing similar work and in it for the Native student athletes, and like we're all here together. And that's so cool.
And so knowing that, like, what has kept you going? Like, knowing that you started at little, now you're here, maybe some advice or just ideas for what keeps you going, and how do you keep pushing in the face of sometimes barriers?
Right. I think what keeps me going now is knowing I'm not the only one anymore, right? And so I can be like, well, I can't do it, but here's my colleague, Dr. Brandon Joseph. Bring him into this conversation, right? And so I think that's really helpful, where I know I have good friends and colleagues who I call family, feel family, that are there alongside me now, where it doesn't have to be me. And I think building relationships, like I said, here at the NCAA, I mean, I was walking around the building yesterday and like, Alisse, hey Alisse, you're here, you're like, and my daughters are here with me, and they're like, dang, Mom, you know a lot of people here. I'm like, I know, it's crazy. So I think it takes a lot of intentionality to do this work. It was like, well, if I'm not going to do it, who is? And now it's like, no. And also realizing, like, I was a really small piece in this. Everyone was doing this similar things around the country, really around the world. And, like, we've found each other now. And so it's working. It's coming together.
Awesome. Last question. So the next 48 or 24 hours, we'll focus on those who are here. But if you had a message to those who couldn't make it, I know I had a couple invites out, and there was just conflicts and whatnot. But, how do we grow this? What's your message to current Native student athletes who couldn't be here? Not only just about coming here, but just as being a student athlete in the NCAA.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Like I said, we have about 40 here, 45. We have hundreds more around the country that I know, probably some didn't know about it for some reason, that wanted to be here. And I would really say that this is, maybe you're not here personally, but we're thinking about you. Like, we're being very intentional with being inclusive, with knowing that the work that you're doing is impacting the next generation, and so acknowledging that whether you're here or not. And we really want to learn from this next 24 hours and really grow it, and so we can understand how can we be more intentional with reaching out to student athletes and getting them here. But I think it's important. We don't want I mean, like I said, I think it would be nice if we had hundreds of student athletes here, but I think it's really important to start small and then grow, because if we're all here at the same time, we're not continuing to reach out and bring people in. And so that's how I look at it when I'm like, oh, I wish we had more. But like, we're small, but we're a really powerful and abundant group, right? We're small, but we're mighty, and we have a strong message. And so I'm hoping that just word of mouth and student athletes going back and talking to community, you all here that are presenting, just to continue and to grow and nurture what we're building.
Awesome. Well, I can't tell you how excited we are to be here.
Thank you.
So thank you for all your hard work, and we're excited to see what happens next.
Thank you. Okay, Brandon.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.